My name is Steele. I'm a barrister and solicitor in Toronto, Ontario. I'm here today to talk to you about separation and divorce. But this story is focused on a very specific group. Gay men who are 50, 60 or older and who are just coming out of heterosexual marriages. Eleanor Roosevelt once said that the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. As much as negative expectations can create a lonely old age, positive expectations and experiences can create a wonderful and fulfilling golden age. Many of my clients, as of late, are gay men who are in their late 50s or 60s or later, who are just starting to come out of the closet. And they're doing this at a very important and difficult time of their lives. They're separating from their long-term spouses, who in all of these cases are women, and they have to deal with their long-term friends and children. They have to face them, they have to explain themselves. Coming out is always tough, even under the best of circumstances. But coming out to your family that you created after 20 or more years of marriage can be an excruciating experience. For many gay men who have remained closeted for almost the entire adult life, coming out of the closet at 50 or 60 is a new adolescence. They come into this new phase of their lives with a renewed lease on life, with a great sense of liberation and freedom, sense of opportunity, and sense that everything is possible. The way that my clients describe it most often is that a huge weight has been lifted off of their shoulders. And that is correct. Now, I have to sound a word of caution, which is, as a family lawyer in these cases, very important. Smart financial planning upon the separation is crucial. You may find yourself in a situation where you're building a new life, but you're unable to break away, at least financially, from your old life and your old marriage. When you have been married to someone for a long time, in this case a woman, a clean break is almost never an option. Many of the marriages that I'm talking about have been traditional in nature. The roles that a husband and wife took were prescribed by gender norms and the respective cultures. Women would stay at home, take care of the children. In many cases, they sacrificed a great deal of career potential to do it. And if, in addition to that, wife is over 60, we are looking at a possibility of large spousal support payments down the road. This is something that has to be addressed, and if the relationship remains amicable, the chances are that any resolution will end up being fair and more comfortable for both parties. Child support, the good news is usually not an issue because the children are over 18 and entirely independent. Psychologically, however, this may add an additional dimension in that parents have to explain themselves, explain the whole situation, and also the children may become parties in the whole negotiation process. In many cases, the biggest assets that a gay man and a straight woman who were married for a long time have are matrimonial home and their respective private pension plans. Now, going into retirement or approaching retirement age can be stressful, and one has to have a certain amount of financial padding in order to provide for a comfortable life down the road. Whenever it comes to a separation, there will be some level of discomfort and inevitable reduction in the quality of life following retirement. That is, unless both parties are extremely amicable and they agree to a solution that is equitable and leaves the other party with enough money and resources to take care of themselves properly. Another thing that separating parties in this case have to keep in mind is that just because you are on the hook for a large amount of spousal support doesn't mean that you don't have to share your pension. I'm assuming that someone retiring in their 60s is already in receipt of their pension as income. Well, pension can be treated both as property after valuation and as income. So, despite the rules, or general rule, against double dipping, there are more exceptions to this rule than there are holes in Swiss cheese. Therefore, the parties have to be aware that sometimes they may be on the hook for both spousal support as well as a piece of their asset in the net family property calculation. Because the coming out process is as difficult as we all know, and because there are so many additional variables in coming out at a later stage in one's life, it is crucial to consult with a lawyer who is empathetic and aware of your needs, both psychological needs as well as legal entitlements, pitfalls, and possibilities for a mutually agreeable win-win resolution. In many cases, gay clients, especially gay older clients, don't feel comfortable with either straight lawyers or lawyers who are not experienced in same-sex separation matters. And in my experience, it has proven a great asset to be a gay lawyer who is also well-versed in psychological dynamics of marriages and separations. What is required of a family lawyer in the cases of separation of gay men from straight women in their 50s and 60s is more than just knowledge of family laws, rules, and regulations. That is the absolute necessity, but it is a lower bar. What is truly needed in order to effect a successful resolution and provide comfortable life for both parties down the road is an assistance of a professional who is there to guide you both legally and provide you a certain amount of life coaching or psychological training and as to how to cope with this entire process. Now, there are different schools of thought on what is the appropriate role of a lawyer in these situations, and some strictly adhere to the legal professional model. I'm not one of those people. Having degrees both in psychology and in law, I consider myself competent enough to assist clients in these situations without feeling that either role compromises the other. Before breaking the news to your wife that you're separating, please seek legal advice. See what your options are, because sometimes the timing of the separation may be truly important and may make a huge difference in terms of the division of assets, pensions, and so forth. Further, if I were to give one piece of non-legal advice, that would be, do not run away from your problem. In more cases than not, the wives who are also feeling hurt and left behind by this whole process will appreciate it much more if you face up and you talk to them and you explain them how you feel, what brought you to this point in your life, and that it's not their fault. You have to understand that both of you have been victimized by a homophobic society, a society or culture that didn't accept you for who you are. So at the end of the day, your ex-wife may turn out to be your best ally and the person who makes a huge difference in your financial future, which will have to be reshaped and redesigned following the separation. Second, because your adult children will inevitably influence the result of any settlement negotiations, be open and honest with them. It is more likely that you will come up with a more equitable outcome if your children feel that you're not abandoning their mother, that you're not abandoning them, and that in the end, you're both still their parents, no matter what. The urge to run away from this kind of a problem is overwhelming. And if you do succumb to this urge, not everything is lost. A good lawyer who has your best interest in mind, who is collaborative, will minimize the damage that is done psychologically and legally by just withdrawing yourself from the situation of conflict. My message in the end is that there is nothing really stopping you from living your life to the fullest. live your life the way you want, and just be smart about it. Be smart about how you approach your separation, and be smart how you deal with the people in your life. If you need additional advice, please contact us at our website www.ivansteellaw.com.